It's like, look once, I'm like, that's what I thought.
Sorry, just remember to turn this on.
Oh, okay. It was like flashing. I thought something was working. Got it. We're good. All right, everybody, we're gonna get started. So if you guys want to make your way, find a seat. Put your hands down. Can we leave that down? 'Cause she looks really bad. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Or
Oh, is it blinding everybody?
It's a little glary.
It's pretty blurry.
okay. Alright, you can start.
Okay. Hello, my name is Jenna Phillips, and I'm going to talk to you about internships. I just want to clarify, I am not speaking on behalf of my company, and everything I say are my opinions and what I've gathered in the last 4 years. And feel free to ask any questions while I'm going. So, I'm from Idaho, born and raised, and I came to Portland for the University of Portland. I have a bachelor's in computer science. I currently volunteer with Chick Tech, which is a nonprofit organization helping bridge the gender inequalities in tech, and then also volunteer for their conference they put on yearly. Great conference, highly recommend. It's ACTW, stands for Advancing the Careers of Technical Women. There's workshops, resume building, career fairs, inspirational people. You should definitely go to it. I currently work at Nike as an engineer and on my side hustle, I work for a TV production crew. It's a hobby, but I also get to use my technical abilities and graphics and sports stuff, which Nike likes. Where I've been, so all of these are in Portland, technically. My first internship while I was in college was at Sage Software. They make accounting software. It's pretty old software, nothing flashy, but gave me my first opportunity. The second was at CDK Global. They make software for car dealerships and service, maintenance, everything that deals with owning a car. The third place I worked was Open Sesame. There I was a full-time engineer and then also an intern program lead halfway through. And then they make e-learning software. And then now I'm currently an intermediate platform engineer at Nike, which is just like a fancy term for software engineer. It's Nike. So I guess the first question is, why seek out an internship? Why not just go for the whole shebang? In my experience, you need experience to get to that full-time job. That was the hardest thing for me. Every application said 1 to 3 years experience. But how will I get the experience if you don't hire me? So internships give you that. They're typically 3 to 6 months and are in Portland almost always paid, which is awesome. They give you a foot in the door at a company that you're potentially looking into. Most companies will hire interns way more frequently than a full-time employee, so it's a good way to meet people, network within a specific company. I think a really important thing is that it'll validate your career. I went to school for something that I didn't know if I wanted to do, so why not do that for 40 hours a week and see if that's really a true thing you want to be doing. Then also, obviously, grow your skills. So how to get an internship? every internship I've gotten, I met a person face to face, and that led to a job. However, that doesn't mean I didn't apply to over 100 places. I didn't go online every night and just like apply. So I think career fairs are key, and applying online. Applying online is not dead, everyone, okay? It's a real thing that people still do. So let me exit out of this. And so this is a great website where all the internships that I've applied to were posted on this website. It's called portlandtech.org. And when you go there, there's a lot of great resources. They partner with WorkSource Oregon, which is also a great resource. Yeah.
What's the average age of like the interns in case? Because sometimes like a lot of like interns can be college age students, but also there are a lot of like interns that are like in their like upper 20s or early 30s.
Totally. Yeah, so in my experience, I had one internship that was strictly you had to be a junior in college or above because they wanted to hire you when you graduated. So sometimes there's restrictions on age like that. But at my old company, Open Sesame, we had 2 women out of code school who were in their late 20s. One was in their late 20s, one was in their 30s. We had another one who was in his 30s, and then we also had some high school students. So I think definitely on an application, they'll specify if you have to have a certain age requirement, and that's probably because they're looking for like a hiring deadline of like, we want you to work full time by when you graduate. So that is something to look forward to, but I think that's definitely changing. And with code schools, I think that age is totally being blown out. So I don't think I think it's a thing of the past that you have to be in college or you have to be out of high school, something like that. So when you go to here, there is a bunch of community events, and this is just populated from, I think, whatever community tech outreach wants to. So there's stuff for Chick Tech, and there's also stuff for companies. So there's one for New Relic on February 11th, and you can just go. So there's like a really good public forum. And then also, you can go to this full list. This is terrifying. Look how big this is. These are all people with open jobs in Oregon, most in Portland. Huge. So the best thing about this is this side panel, intern and junior dev. These are all
so cool. Sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is the best place ever. They're all open jobs, and they specify basically like whatever you're looking for. So you click on one, it takes you to that career page for that company, and then it directly shows you like, oh, this is the intern they want, or this is the intern. So it's just like a direct link to straight internship pages, which is really cool. Yeah, and then if you're not looking for an internship, just looking for other things, and you know the focus area, they have it all split up between areas of tech, which is really cool. So that is great. And then also at the bottom, they have a link to TechTown Diversity Pledge. This is 25 companies who have signed this pledge that Portland has to basically say, we are dedicated to diversity and inclusion, and this is how we're going to do it. And they lay out a monthly thing that they do around it, educating each other. So these are, if your focus is trying to increase this or work at a company that really cares about diversity, this is like a cool place to see all these, and it'll also link to their career page. And this is the pledge, if you're curious. Cool. Okay, I'll go back. So portlandtech.org, super great resource. So some of the past intern projects that I've worked on or I've given out as an intern lead, the first was an application redesign. It's something that's like tangible for somebody with a low experience. So basically they give me this old website. I say, we want it to look better, function the exact same. So that's a really good example of just like a concrete thing you can do in 3 to 6 months. My second internship was a little more researchy. I did proof of concepts for new technologies. Proof of concept is basically just saying, how would this work at our company and would it work? And you just start testing out new technologies. So that's a really great one to look for. I had my interns do manual quality assurance, basically testing our site. I did that for a couple weeks, and it gains familiarity. You find bugs, more familiar with how we work in our QA cycle. And then once they knew that, they were able to do automated tests, which is pretty cool, and then also fix bugs for our site. And those were just high schoolers. And then our older interns who had more experience, they also did QA, and then they redesigned a settings page, same kind of idea, redo the front and the back, same functionality. So those are kind of like ideas of projects and really good questions to ask in an interview for an internship, of just like, what is the project you have in mind for me? Because that can be a big decision. So what I learned being an intern, I think the biggest thing is networking. These people that you're meeting are doing the exact same thing you're doing. They're trying to grow their network, find the career they want to be in. Just to make those connections lasting is really big. Also what it means to be a developer outside of classwork. You can take tons of classes, do a bunch of side projects, participate in hackathons, but being at a desk where you do this 40 hours a week with timelines, deadlines, bugs, releases, like that is something that you can't really experience unless you're at work. Seeing Scrum and Agile and GitHub in the wild, it's like something you always talk about, like, oh yes, Scrum, but like every company does it differently, and I think it's really good to just see it firsthand, so there's no like smoke and mirrors. It's just like, yes, this is our process, and that's a big thing you learn as an intern. Finding the right culture fit, 3 to 6 months. Oh yeah.
How would you rate like the importance of your GitHub? Like, is it really important to have like projects you work on and like?
I think it depends. I think it depends on if that is your experience in a whole. Like if that showcases your experience, then that's great. Like give it out there, great. I never did side projects. It's like not my thing. So I relied on other things. I never gave out my GitHub. I still don't. Don't go look at it. It's sad. So I think it just depends on like what you are going to rely on when you go and present yourself. But if you've done like a big, huge thing, definitely showcase it on GitHub and like put that out there because that's pretty cool. Finding the right culture fit. I've worked at a huge company that was old and worked at a brand new company, super young, and now I work at another huge company. And I kind of found out like, yeah, I like the huge company feel. I like the perks and the security. And the startup was a little too much. So I think that's good to find out in an internship, 3 to 6 months. That's like perfect to see if like, do I fit here, do I not? All right, go from there. And then obviously experience. So as an intern lead, the biggest thing I learned was how to hire an intern, which I'll talk about on the next slide because that's huge. I also learned a lot about the expectations of interns. We as hiring managers and managers know that there is a learning curve. They don't expect you to come in day one, tons of knowledge. They expect you to get there and be attentive and learn. And I think that's big. And then what it takes to stay on full time. So at the end of an internship, there's a couple things that happen. They have already told you it ends on this date and you will leave on that date. You could leave on that date and then they offer you a full-time position. That is pretty common nowadays. Or you could just stay on as an intern even longer. So kind of the things that I've noticed what it takes is to just do more than you're told. If you are doing one bug fix and then you sit and you wait for product to tell you what to do next, it's just not, you're not going to get as much done and you're not going to get as much out of it. So just to take that extra step and be a little, own the tasks a little more is, I think, a big step ahead of other people. To learn as much as you can, we're here to help interns and answer their questions and whatever you have for them, just learn everything you have. And then communication and honesty. I had 2 different interns that I managed. One told me exactly what was going on, how they were feeling, positive or negative, and we worked and we went from there. The other intern did not honestly tell me that he wasn't having a good time and didn't like what he was doing and didn't put effort into what he was doing, and at the end of the internship, nothing came of it. So I think there's that level of I will help you if you help me, and just being honest with the person who's managing you to get the most out of your experience. So hiring an intern. Apply for a job even if you don't fit all the requirements. If you have one project that you've worked on and they want at least 1 year of experience, apply. Just do it. But honestly, requirements, usually they're trying to put a stretch goal out there, so you put way more that no one, I don't know why people do this, but you put way more so that you maybe get the ideal candidate. Like, that's never going to happen. Apply, apply, apply. On the job application, check all the boxes. If they say, maybe add a cover letter, add a cover letter. Just do it. When you get 100 applications and you're trying to whittle them down, the first thing you pull out are the people who just like didn't do what you said. At my old company, it was an e-learning company, so we told the applicants to pick a course, take the course and tell us what they thought of our website. 10 people did it. Those were like the 10 people we interviewed. So just like do the things I say. Use your cover letter to express yourself in a different way. If you've done a really cool project, but it doesn't really show on paper, write about that, write about why you're excited to be here, the things you're really excited about to learn. People definitely read those. Researching the company is really a big thing. Before you even apply, go to their website, check out their about page. If you're going into an interview and you have no idea what they're doing at this company, it's a little sad on the interviewer. Be eager, have a good attitude. I think having a good attitude can overshadow experience by far. If you are there ready to learn and you're showing it, that is more important to me than a project that somebody else has worked on that they really can't talk about. What else? Ability to talk about your experience. So you might have done something really cool, but if you don't remember it and you never really talked about it and you kind of just did it, how would you talk about that in an interview? So taking all your experience and talking about it in a really positive way and just practicing that and turning it into a good thing can really show your experience in a new light. Have a list of interview questions for the interviewer and take notes, follow up. It's nice to just take notes on who interviewed you, and then when you're following up, you just have their name and you have a few things you chatted about, and then you can really stand out. And then always remember
Just in your experiences like hiring interns,
Yeah.
/ entry level positions, what about like previous work experience that's maybe not pertaining to the tech field? Have you seen that it's been like, I don't know, a benefactor?
Totally. I think that's really big. We had a woman who was a composer, and we're like, that's really cool. And she's like, actually, when you think about it, composing is math. And was able to talk about her old life in such a light that we were like, wow, this is really cool. And then she also started like programming game music. We're like, cool, that's like a weird tie-in, but like I think you can use your experience in so many different ways, even if it's not tech. You are interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. There's like this weird wall when you're interviewing of like, am I a real person? Are they real people? I just want a job. And if you break that, and you're like, hello, I'm a real person, you're a real person, that is huge. It should be a back and forth conversation. If a company is drilling you and never telling you anything about themselves, it should raise a couple red flags. It should be a big conversation. And once you get over that, interviews are less scary. It's still scary, but less. Meet people that will vouch for you. These are some of the people I've met at CDK and Open Sesame. And they're all great friends. I can call them up, ask them if they have opportunities, what their career is like, ask them for advice, anything. This middle picture is my favorite. This is our first internship. They're all just like kids. And now 2 of them work at Facebook, 2 work at LinkedIn, 1 works at Apple. Like, these people are doing crazy things. And just like growing this network is huge. Getting to know people who are also interning with you, it's a really big, big moment.
And you were saying how a lot of these interns, they were bootcamp students, right?
I'll point to them. Bootcamp. The others are not. Still, like it's not. Yes, I think it's a thing of the past to think that only college students are getting internships. This is me. This is my LinkedIn photo. Add me on LinkedIn. I didn't put the link because you're looking at it. That's my email. email me with questions. I don't have a ton of experience, but I've done it a few times and interviewed at terrible places, interviewed at really great places. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome.
What questions do you have?
When is that women's tech?
Oh, I think it's June.
Yeah.
We're still prepping up. I think June. I can Google it really quick. Look it up.
How about on LinkedIn with you?
Yes, LinkedIn is
All right.
Yeah. And if you're interested in being a part of Chick Tech or the planning committee, we are still looking for volunteers. It's like the best way to network. Awesome. Especially like we work with a lot of companies and partner with them. And if you're a volunteer talking to these people, you're like, oh yes, also where are you hiring? That's the way to do it. Yeah.
So for like the interview process, there's a lot of it. You're interviewing the other companies, so is it a combination? Is there like hard technical skills and also fellowshipping?
Yeah. So in my experience for an internship, I would not ask a technical question where you have to write code. Ever. Like that is way too stressful. I've been asked those for a full-time career, never for an internship. I've been asked technical questions in general, like tell me about object-oriented programming. And it's more of like a question answer to see if you know about it. Tell me about automated tests. What are they good for? Test-driven development. What's your thought? Like more thought-provoking to see your experience, but I've never been asked, write me an array that sorts this. Like I've been asked those for other jobs, but for an internship, they know your level of knowledge and they know where you're at and they want to hear about your experience and if you can learn. I think like that's the biggest thing. Like if we hire you, can we teach you something in 3 months? If so, great. Like we'd love to have you on. So yes, some companies will ask you. Some are doing tests. Also before you even show up to see if you just like meet a requirement, and they'll be like find bugs in this thing. New Relic is notorious for doing like a pre-test before an interview. So there are companies that are doing it, but I think for your first internship, it won't happen as frequently. What else?
How long have you worked in IT?
6 months. Yeah, so I worked at Open Sesame for about a year and a half. It was not right for me. Nike approached me. Yes.
When I was looking for internships myself, a lot of them they're like, hey, it's going to be like, you know, a junior in college. At least the ones that I found. Would you recommend for us to apply those to anyway, even though we're not like, hey, you know, we're not like a software engineering kind of
Totally.
program.
Totally. I don't think we specified if you had to be in college or not. I don't think we did because we ended up with 3 code schools and graduates. But we interviewed somebody who was a junior at MIT, and they were like the worst interview we've ever had. And my boss was like, "This is why. Like, this is why you can't put that requirement. Is because no matter what your accolades are, like if you're gonna interview well, you're gonna interview well. If you're gonna like want to do this job, you'll do it." So I think like if there are requirements like that, I'd say go for it. Like just do it. If they strictly have a like limit, they'll tell you. But honestly, like I think it's worth the shot to be like, here am I, and this is the great things I've done. And if they can't hire you for that exact role, they might have a different like part-time role that could be like an internship or something. So I think it's not like a lost cause at all.
You also mentioned that you were not a big GitHub person, right? And I met a lot of software engineers like Steve.
Yeah.
They're not like that. But like, what do you show instead?
Mm-hmm.
Not like, you know, you mentioned that you may compromise and do something else instead, right? Like,
So
what
yeah.
do you do?
So for my first internship, I had worked at the University of Portland teaching a class much like this. of like, here are things to be successful. And I just taught that. So I use that as like my experience, and like it doesn't show my technical ability, but it shows other things that like my leadership, my like planning, my orientation, like other things that I think can kind of outweigh it in an internship. But then like going literally like one internship, after that, then you use the internship. And you don't use your GitHub, you use like that past 3 months. You don't have to tell them it was 3 months, they don't know. Like all they need to know is what you did there, what were the skills you learned, and what were like the end products of what you did. And I think like, that is the key point. It's like getting over that and using that experience.
So you can use your past like work experience
Totally.
anyway, and then
Totally. Like
gotcha.
yes.
What's the environment like for maybe internships or just in general? Like, is it super competitive to where like you're like at each other's throats with like your coworkers?
Oh,
Because,
with
like,
fellow interns?
yeah, because like you're like trying to one up them, or is it, or have you found is it more like collaborative? Like let's just get together, try to make something better,
Yeah,
versus
so-
kind of like trying to knock each other out.
Totally, yeah. I'm sure there's companies where they're trying to knock each other
Yeah.
out. But all the companies that I've interned with in Portland, they're a part of, so Open Sesame is a part of that Tech Town pledge. So all the interns actually from like every single one of those companies come together once every couple of weeks. So even across companies, they're all getting together, have lunch, and they're like so friendly. And I think there's never a thing of like, and we'll only choose one at the end, so fight it out. Like,
Yeah.
no, they never tell you that. So it's like most of the time you're working on a team with your other intern. And then at CDK, they had one intern per team. And so you're interacting with a real team for the whole day or for like your whole summer. And then you did fun activities with the other interns. So most of my experiences were just like super fun, really just wanted to like collaborate with other people, which is great.
More of a comment. I just wanted to say I appreciated how much emphasis you put on networking, and then also showed in one of your internships, like these people looked at Facebook and LinkedIn, because you never know where your colleagues are going to go or what your next job is going to be. So like making those connections is worth your time, even if they can't immediately help you.
Yeah.
It's worth the investment.
My LinkedIn is blowing up. I love it. Love it. Connect with me. Like, you never know. I didn't know I'd be at Nike. Like, that's crazy. I was, like, maintaining a website in bugs, like, a year ago. Like, you just never know. Also, I was reached out to on LinkedIn for my Nike job. So, LinkedIn, pitch to them.
Are you allowed to say what exactly you do for like Nike and technologies and not?
Yes. I got told, Jenna, what are you doing this TikTok about? What you work on? I was like, no, not what I work on, I swear. So, I work with designers. It's pretty cool. And I work with Tab.
He's also someone you get the tech across.
Any other questions?
How was your experience with startups?
Yeah. The first company I worked at it's pretty big globally, Sage, but like no one's ever heard of it, unless you're in real estate software. It's very random. But they were kind of in the phase of maintaining their software. So while I was there was a couple like employee walkouts where there was firings and layoffs. So it was like in this weird phase of we're a big company but we're maintaining, and the culture was like pretty low key. I loved all the people that worked there. They're all kind, but the culture was just like, we have cubicles kind of thing. And then CDK was in the phase of also kind of changing up. So when I was there was a lot of empty desks, but they were like cool desks and there was like fun people, but there's still that like corporate, and you do this for HR. So there's still like some policies you gotta go by. However, both those companies, there was a lot of stability for me as an intern. Like I never was like, they're gonna lay me off. It was like, no, they really care about their intern program. And then the startup, it's like fun. There's dogs. There's like at most 6 dogs a day. Like what? great. All right, it was great at first, and then you hear dogs bark, and you're like, I'm just trying to work. So pros and cons. They did have like free food. There was like cool call pods you could go in. Like there's cool perks, but the pay is lower at a startup. But you get, I feel like a startup you get way more experience because you are tasked to do like way too many things. So my experience was like I got to lead an internship program. Like from the start, I managed interns. Like that's really cool, and I'm never going to do that at a big company. So those skills and everything I did at that company, I got to work with AWS, spinning up environments, and like put out alarms and like things like that that I would never get to do at this big company because there's teams of people for that. So I think there's a lot of good experience to be had at startups. But if the environment's not right, like you know everybody in a startup, you know everybody's drama, you know the whole company's drama. Like I don't need that. So Nike's like a good mix of that fun culture. Like our office, there's just like 3D printers everywhere. Like people are just like creating things and doing so much cool stuff. And it's like, yeah, this is great. Like there's nice people and there's like so many diversity meetups to go to. Like I swear to God, when I go to one like once a month, there's like parties to be had. So it's like kind of the best of both worlds. But yes, some don't like Nike. Some like the startups, some don't like startups. Some like Nike. So it's just like you gotta get a feel for it. But yeah.
You mentioned earlier that you personally liked it when your interns would be honest with you about the negative things.
Yeah.
Do you find that that really depends on the manager, and that maybe some managers don't want to hear the negative things, and they just want to hear that you're happy and you're happy to do whatever they want you to do?
I think yeah.
And if you do go into the negative things, like do you have any advice on kind of the limitations of what to discuss?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it does depend on the manager. Like I think was very open with them. One, because I was like in their position 3 years before, so I was like, yeah, of course tell me everything because I understand. But I think if you're a manager who's more far removed, why would you? Yeah, I think there's like a disconnect sometimes that you do just want to hear like everything's going great, I'm doing great, and love this. So I think it does depend on the manager, and I think talking about the negative stuff can be good. I had one intern go way too far and like criticize the program. And I was like, hey, I made the program, so maybe not. Like, so I think know your audience. He didn't know that, and that's okay. But I think like being honest about the type of work you're doing, I think is totally appropriate. I don't like doing this because I'm getting bored. Can I have more work in this area? And I think that's totally reasonable. If you're like, I hate this, it sucks, this is the worst program, like, no, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear that you are appreciative of the offer and like the opportunity, but these things could change. So I think, yeah, know your audience and also like get a feel for your manager. Because I've had some managers that are like, oh, I need to tell that. I'm like, way over here. You down here, don't tell me. Okay. But I think your coworkers can definitely help you kind of gauge, because they know they've dealt with this person before. So I think that's a good way to just get your feelers out there. Like, are they nice or not? What else?
For Nike, what specific technologies do they use, like frameworks or libraries?
Everything. Literally everything. There are, like, I swear 5,000 people in tech at Nike. There's like a lot. So what Tab works on and what I work on, totally different. I use Java. Like, that's crazy. Who does that anymore? I do. Tab uses Python and like a ton of other things. So it's hard, right? Like, but I want to work at a great company. How do I get the skills? So it's like you could go be a generalist or a specialist, I think, in many things. But I think just getting your feelers out there and like find what you like. Because even if Nike was like, we'll give you this great job if you code in C, I'd be like, heck no, that's terrible. So I think like find out what you like and enjoy, and then Nike will for sure have it somewhere, I'm sure. Because there are so many people doing so many cool things. Like, we are on the product side, whereas there's like a whole different organization of people that are doing like the web digital side. So it's just like totally different stuff. But
Like the next one, Steven's gonna the
Oh,
next
yeah,
one
Steven.
is a React,
Yeah.
which is JavaScript. And like yeah, so there's
we
three
work like
technologies.
across from each other, and he
Yeah.
doesn't even know what I do. Crazy.
As a person, would you recommend as a young aspiring engineer to get a grip of pretty much every single program, just to a small extent, and then just specializing in one program, or just go as big as you can?
Yeah, I think it depends on what you're interested in. Because like my old manager was like the most extreme generalist I've ever met. He knew everything about everything. And he worked so hard to do that. But that requires so much work. And if you like bouncing between things, then like totally do it. But if you enjoy one thing and want to focus on it, I think that's totally fine. Definitely keep your feelers out for like new technologies, because you don't want to be left behind. But it's hard to say. I think give multiple things a try and see what kind of clicks for you. Because Python and Java, totally different. Totally different. Like the way you program is very different too.
I know like what area you're thinking of going in. Like if you know you're going into web development versus some
That's
other
a good
type
idea,
of
yeah.
thing that they have preferences. There are definitely languages that come to the top.
Yeah, especially for web. I think there's a lot of new stuff out there that's good. What else? Was this helpful?
Yes.
What feedback do you have? Pros, cons?
I love the website, even though I have to
Yeah,
picture of it.
yeah. PortlandTech.org, that is like the godsend. I would just like browse it all the time.
That's
So
awesome.
good. Yeah. Even now, there's current jobs.
I will never like felt comfortable like saying, hey, you need like 2 years of experience. I'm like, hey, I just got a boot camp. Yay, I will be able to apply today. So I think it get more encouraged in my head, okay, when I'm gonna start applying, regardless
Yeah.
of what it is.
I think so, yeah. Honestly, if you can speak about your experiences and how to better the company, that is really what they want to know.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.